Microphone check. Microphone check. Microphone check. Comment section testing sound. Break and finish live. With the live. Kelvin versus Ibra. Hazard versus SEIF. Sound check. Now, welcome aboard, dear viewers. It is a triple stream of 3 money matches all happening. Sorry, it is a triple stream of 2 money matches which are happening at the same time. Today, we are in the county of Machakos, near Nairobi in Kenya, alongside Mombasa Road, at the fuel station that is called Robis. We are having JAMLOCK Sports Center, which is the center of attraction. I want to beg your pardon, the Ugandan that is playing on the live stream is called. I want to beg your pardon, the Ugandan that is playing on the live stream is called Ibrahim Sejema, all the way from Kampala, having been right in Kenya now for the last 4 weeks, taking on Kelvin Fikoti, the best player coming from the Republic of Zambia. The two are racing to 21 for a total of 4,000 US dollars. Sport while the break and finish live YouTube stream does have the match that is happening between Tanzania's SEIF Hamad joining light blue, taking on Uganda's Hazard Mokoma joining white as well, racing to 21 but for half the pot, that is 2,000 US dollars. I am having a little bit of sound feedback. I'll try to sort it. In the meantime, enjoy the stream that is on Break and Finish Live Facebook, Peter Chubila YouTube, as well as Rock and Shoot Blitz YouTube channel. Hello? Hello? Yeah. Hello? No, put one of the games on Facebook, please. All right. I will be passing here very frequent. I'm struggling with it, with sound. Sound is okay.
Ghosts.
Now for the Facebook audience, dear viewers, the live stream of the match between Ibra and Kelvin is coming live shortly on Capitol's Photography Facebook. The match between SEIF and Hazard will only be having a YouTube stream, at least for now, live on Break and Finish YouTube. Table 1 has the Ugandan Ibra enjoying a 3-1 lead against the Zambian Kelvin. Table 2 has the Ugandan Hazard Lokoma enjoying a 2-1 lead against SEIF Hamad. The matches are moving at pretty much the same speed, most especially considering that the match between SEIF and Ibra started about 4 minutes before the match between Hazard and SEIF. So today I am the richest guy around. I am loaded with 6,000 US dollars. After maybe 3 hours, maybe less, maybe slightly more, I will be surrendering it all to 2 of the players on 2 of the tables. Now I know that most of you will be interested mostly in the match between Kelvin and Ibra because they have a lot of interest, a lot of history between themselves. Who doesn't remember when Kelvin won the ATA Africa's Super 16-man comp right at the end of the month? That was December 2024. Thereafter, he decided to cross over to Uganda alongside his international teammate Moses Mofia to have a tour of Uganda, playing many matches and competitions in Uganda, simply to give him more competition because, of course, he was having way less competition back at home in Zambia. That tour saw him take on Ibra in the final of a tournament that was organized at KV Pol Arena in the town of Masaka, mid-western Uganda. A race to 11 it was. The first time that the two were facing off right in Uganda, it ended 11-1. In fact, Ibra won the first 10 frames of that final. Kelvin won the 11th and Ibra won the 12th and won the match by 11 frames to 1. And the other bit of history between those two is when Ibra spent the better part of 1 year in Zambia playing semi-professional pool with Sharks Pool Club in the Zambian Pool League. He was stubborn enough, Ibra, then to head start Kelvin in a race to 21 with +3 for 1,000 US dollars, and Ibra's pot was raised by Mr. Zahid Monshi, who was his manager while he was in Zambia. That match with +3 was won by Ibra. The next time the two faced off was when Kelvin was in Uganda to have a tour. There were 2 other times that the two faced off sometime last year, coming to exactly 1 year ago. Who doesn't remember the competition that was the last international one to have been won by, not the very last, but it was won by Aiden Joseph, the Queen's Sports Club double elimination competition that happened at Queen's in Bulawayo. The two faced off in 2 lives. Both of Ibra's lives were knocked out convincingly by Kelvin. Life number 1, Kelvin won by 7 frames to 2. Life number 2, Kelvin won in a decider by 7 frames to 6. Now, this match is supposed to have happened a little earlier between Ibra and Kelvin, but it was just not coming. A lot of war of words between the two players and their management teams, maybe the people who are handling them. In fact, Kelvin did say it on one of our social platforms that he wants to come to Kenya, but to have matches, and was targeting Ibra as one of his potential victims. He said that he wanted to come only if Ibra submitted his part of the stake, and Ibra's camp welcomed Kelvin to the party The first day that the match was supposed to happen was exactly yesterday. Kelvin, for whatever reason, decided to call off the match and postpone it today. Today it was supposed to have happened a little earlier by about 2 hours. It's understandable. Kelvin is using this road for the very first time. He went through a lot of traffic. You understand, Mombasa Road, one of the busiest roads maybe in the whole of East Africa. It took him an extra 2 hours to reach the venue, and when the time for the match came, they were not supposed to be playing from this table. We had set up all our live streaming equipment on another table. Then when he came, he said, I feel that this table is better, the one on which they are playing. And then when Ibra's camp said that we came earlier, we felt another table. Why are you wanting us to play from a different table? Kevin's response was, I do not manufacture tables. All the tables are good. Just play on what we have, what I'm saying, convenient, or else we play another day. Ibra had to abide. The match had to be rescheduled to a different table. The table on which we are now, it is standard blackboard table, Optima in brand, only having been assembled here at JAMLOCK less than 2 weeks ago, having been acquired from the United Kingdom. It is the same exact brand of table where you have events like the Ultimate Pool Championships and those tables where you had the Caesar versus Melinge. Those ones. There are 5 frames that have been played in that match, and the Ugandan Ibra is having a narrow 3 frames to 2 lead, racing to 21. And on this other side of the chart, I hope that you don't feel like I'm sidelining you, folks that are watching the match between SEIF, Hamad, and Hazard Lokuma, with Hazard having been, I think, the latest arrival into Nairobi. He was targeting maybe to have a chance to participate in the team event that was won by the Mchana Knights, because he was meant to be part of the Q Danger team. He was told upon arrival from Nigeria, by the way, not from Uganda. He was traveling from Nigeria where he was having a tour, that he came a little too late to have his name included on the team sheet. So he decided to engage different players and their management teams that he wants action. After all, he came action of them. The first one to respond to Hazard's call as Kelvin equalizes on another table was SEIF, and the agreement was to have 2 matches between Hazard and SEIF, home and away basis. Hazard nominating JAMLOCK as his home venue, SEIF nominating Chana Pabangwilo as his home venue. The expectation is that maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday, we shall be having a rematch of Hazard versus SEIF at Mchana Pabangwilo in Nairobi. Those 2 faced off for the last time right in this country, a competition that is streamed in the district that is called Kitale. I think the county is called Trans Nzoia. A competition that had 3 Tanzanian players, 8 Ugandan players, and then 2 South Sudanese players, and the bulk of participants, 64 of them, being Kenyan. Hazard reached the round of last 16, where he defeated Tanzania's Amadeus, the guy that reached the final of Easter Monday's comp, and then he faced off SEIF in the quarterfinals. The match was won by SEIF, who also defeated Ian in the semis and Glorious in the finals, defeating all Ugandans to win the competition, which is the very last that he has won on international basis. The match between Hazard and SEIF is
Yeah, I've seen them. Also following. So you can also do one with maybe that way.
Meanwhile, dear viewers, for the Facebook streamers, Q-Pixel's photography has us covered for the match between Ibrahim Sejimba and Saif Hamad. Once again, it has now 3 streams. Rock and Shoot Bleeds, YouTube, Peter Chevy Live, YouTube, Q-Pixel's photography, Facebook. There is also Hazard Lokoma The Truth versus Saif Hamad, the Ghost Rider, racing to 21 for 2,000 US dollars live and Break and Finish Live, YouTube. The match between Ibra and Kelvin is having its frame number 7 coming to a close with Ibra putting back to the side pocket on the right. The Ugandan regains the lead for the first time in the match. It is 4 frames to 3. Our venue, dear viewers, is JAMLOCK Sports Center, right at the entry of Machakos County. For those that have some knowledge about Kenyan geography, right at Ruby's Fuel Station is JAMLOCK. Very, very beautiful venue. The color and appearance of the video tells the story. And for Saif and Hazard, second time that they are facing off in Kenya, first time having been won by Saif. For Ibra and Kelvin, if I'm not mistaken, right in this country, this is only the first time that they are facing off, but Ibra has a lot better history in Kenya than does Kelvin. But I will not say a lot better history, no, because both have won at least one international event here at the Mchana Pub and Grill, is where Ibra won the Grand Mchana Open 2023, and then the following year, Saif won an invitational tournament of the best 16 players on the African continent playing double life. He did take 2 lives in the final, defeating Ibra's international teammate Cesar Chandiga in the final, with Kelvin winning without dropping a single life. Since then, I have to say that Kelvin has been outmatching Ibra in terms of performances, most especially continentally. In fact, Ibra's last relatively good international performance was reaching the semi-finals of the Q Masters International Carnival in Arusha. Special thanks to the management teams of all 4 players involved in 2 matches that are coming to you live from Machakos. Saif Hamad and Team Snipers from Dar es Salaam. The entire management team almost are entirely watching the match at the venue. They are very, very supportive of their players, most especially cheering them on the table right from the word go. They win together, they lose together as a team. I love and appreciate that about them. Hazard's management team, Dice Lounge, all the way from Munyenyo in Kampala. I know that more certain than not, had Hazard's boss, we call him Chairman Mark Muzungu, is watching online. He's a big boy with bottomless pockets and has a lot of influence on Ugandan pool, on Ugandan players, very supportive to them, irrespective of whom he manages or not. Ibra's management team, Team Roxbury, based in the district of Wakiso. All those are very well managed players. And of course, Kelvin Fikoti managed under Q Masters. I know that his boss, Peter Timber, is watching from Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. He could be watching his player losing a second consecutive frame, but a fifth overall. This time round, with yet another single visit of the table by Ibra to extend his lead to 2 for the second time in the match as he puts black. Ibra 5, Kelvin 3, Hazard 3, SEIF 2, Ibra Kelvin racing to 21 for 4,000 US dollars. Hazard and SEIF racing to the same for half the pot. Once again, 3 frames to 2. Uganda's Hazard Lukoma leads against Tanzania's Health Safe Hamad on table number 2, the green table. That has the live stream and break and finish live YouTube, while Ibrahim Sajemba leads against Kelvin Fikoti by 5 frames to 3 in the match that has the live stream and Kpixels Photography Facebook, Peter Chove live YouTube, as well as Rock and Shoot Blitz YouTube, and the page that is run by Evans Okacha. After this, of course, we shall see what tomorrow will have to offer, but there is one pending arrival into Kenya. That one will cause a little bit of goosebumps to all of the players, as this coming Friday, a certain Mr. Caesar Chandiga will be expected in Nairobi. He has business with Kelvin, has business with Dula, he has business with Jerry. For whatever reason, the Jerry match will be coming first this coming Saturday, coming to you live from Channel Pub and Grill in Nairobi. Jerry versus Caesar. The following day, Kelvin, and Monday, Dula. After that, there will be no reason as to why I will not be enjoying my bus ride home. After having done what I feel a service fulfilled. Two frames, a 9th in the match between Ibra and Kelvin, and the 6th in the match between Hazard and SEIF. Sorry for that breaking video, dear viewers. Maybe after every 25 minutes or so, that will be happening for about 20 seconds. When it does happen, it will eventually come through and come good. Please accept my apologies for that momentary break in video, most especially those who are watching from Kpixels Photography, as well as Peter Chove live YouTube, as well as Break and Finish live YouTube. It will always happen, but only for a few seconds, just a few seconds, and thereafter we shall always be getting back and running. Second money match that is happening between Kelvin and Ibra. The first happened when both were very, very young men. By the way, both are younger than many of you think. With Ibra at 25, if I'm not mistaken, Kelvin is at 26, and many of you always accuse me of in quotes understating players' ages. I only go by what is on their passports, and it is what it is. Hazard versus SEIF, with the Hazard being so far the last arrival into Kenya from Lagos in Nigeria, where he was having a tour for 3 weeks. For 3 weeks when he was in Nigeria, it was relatively successful. He took down whoever came his way, including, yes, those Nigerian players, and he did not even spare Ginte. Now, here comes Ibra, getting to miss a ball that could be very decisive for the future of frame number 9 in the match between Ibra and Kelvin. While the match between Hazard and SEIF has now SEIF going for clearance, that could be his equalizer in the match that will be happening for the first time. He will have the work of putting 2 yellows to respective side pockets, right and left, and the black is there for the taking. Going for a clearance is Kelvin. Also going for a clearance is SEIF. On one of the streams, Kelvin is missing a would be simple ball. On another of the streams, SEIF is winning the frame. It is 3-3 now between SEIF and Hazard, 5-3 between Kelvin and Ibra.
Shot.
Still waiting for confirmation of matches that could be happening tomorrow. And the last match between Ishmael and Dula will be happening tomorrow. They are at 2-2. Dula has advised me
1-1, we made 3.
If you have won 2-2, you and Ishmael.
Yes.
If you win the remaining 2, that's it.
Yes.
If you win 1, he wins 1. You
need
play
one more,
another.
yeah.
Too much money.
A lot of money.
Okay, there is confirmation from Dula that he'll be rematching again with Ishmael tomorrow at Mchana Pub and Grill in Nairobi. But before then, yeah,
Me and Ishmael, we are married.
and he's the wife.
Yeah, until we die.
Very funny. Ibra 6 and Kelvin 3, Hazard 3, SEIF 2. Our umpire is Innocent, a resident umpire here at Jamlock. We are playing this match. And before the match between Dula and Ishmael tomorrow, there will be a curtain raising match, but a mini match of its own between the lady from Uganda, Michelle. She'll be taking on Penina Rose from Kenya. I have no doubt PR is Kenya's finest today. It will be a good one, racing to 11 for 20,000 Kenya shillings. Thank you for watching the YouTube stream. You are asking how Jamlock is. It is very fine, very beautiful, very, very spacious. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pool tables, and 3 of them are of this quality, with a very spacious environment, also very clean and a very friendly staff. I love what I'm seeing. James Oitiko, you say Ibra is trying to be fast. By the way, the match between Ibra and Hazard is a lot faster than the match between SEIF and Hazard. sorry, the match between Ibra and Kelvin, they're playing faster than is Hazard and SEIF. Isaac Katurosa asking about the race. It is race to 21. Whether you're watching Hazard versus SEIF, whether you're watching Ibra versus Kelvin, it is race to 21. The only difference is the pot is that for the pot involving Hazard and SEIF, it is $2,000, while for Ibra and Kelvin, they are big boys and potting like big boys. They are putting the pot like big boys are supposed to do. It is $4,000 US. The one between Jerry and Caesar will be a $5,000 US pot. Hazard 4, SEIF 3, Ibra 6, Kelvin 3. Here comes Kel. It's Mafia who taught me how to pronounce his name as Kel. When I'm joking with him, I just call him Small Kel because there is a new Kel in town, big Kels. So I just say, Kelvin, you are the small Kel, and it's all funny. Here's the task of 3 yellows piled up against each other, close to red near the center pocket right. As he tries out a clearance, he will be having those yellows in mind. And it's understandable what he was trying to do, leaving a cut between white. If he had potted, look at the white and the yellow, which is closer to the white. If it was played to the corner pocket bottom left, the cue ball by backspin would naturally be played into the pile up of those 3 yellows. But now the chance is Ibra's to win the frame, to extend his lead, try and make it 7. That one came close to a foul by Ibra on one stream. It is now pretty much an effective shot by the same player. He got a little bit lucky there. Now Kelvin really must find a way of winning this match, or else his tour of Kenya is quickly turning into a big failure. When he arrived the following day, he was on the table playing a money match against Rashid Wagama, losing by 21 frames to 19. Then in the wee hours of yesterday morning saw him lose against Jerry in yet another match, this time around by 21 frames to 15 for $3,000 US. He also came short in the comp, the singles tournament that was organized at Mchana Pub and Grill, losing out in the first round. A little bit unfortunate that he was paired up against another of his fellow tournament favorite, Jerry. Match was won by Jerry. In the team event, him and his Q Danger team were only 3rd out of 8 teams that participated. Of course, they were in the prize bracket, but not the position they wanted. So this one will be very critical. Kelvin has just been exchanging verbally now with a member of Ibra's management, Bob, that when I am playing, please shut up. And the message was quite clear. As Ibra misses, as the level of play in the ongoing frame lowers, as Kelvin has a chance, call it half a chance, to try and win the frame, try and mount a comeback as we come close to the end of the first quarter of the match. It is 4 frames to 3. Hazard leading against SEIF in the other match. 6 frames to 3. Ibra leading against Kelvin. Either way.
This guy has added music volume.
Yeah, I've muted it. It's a DJ come.
It's not even the usual people out there.
As for the two matches, we are now streaming to close to 2,000 people watching live, combined on the Facebook and YouTube platforms. Thank you, Africa. And how good can Kelvin come here? He has a very tricky frame, most especially the fact that there are 3 yellows piled up against each other. It will not be easy for him whatsoever. As Kelvin recovers, please accept our apologies for a little slack in audio. Sometimes when the DJ goes louder, we have to go lower, or if possible, go a little to mute. These streams and copyrighted music don't go hand in hand. This one is now highly likely to be a 4th frame being won by Kelvin out of 10. He needs this. You don't let a player as good as Ibra take a 4-frame lead this early in the match. He now does have 2 yellows, portable with ease to the corresponding side pockets left and right. Maybe the black to the corresponding corner pocket, bottom right. Bottom left is also an option as long as it can pass. 1 frame that Mr. Fikoti is demonstrating his prowess. He's, in my opinion, a better player than what we have seen so far. His performances speak for themselves, and will now be putting back to the corner pocket, bottom left, to record his 4th out of 10. And there he does. Kelvin Mkandu 4, Ibrahim Sejemba 6, race to 21. Now I will not be certain whether the ball Ibra has spotted. The second, the red that was parked at the corner pocket was exactly his intention, but he has a chance of manipulating yet another beautiful pattern to win the frame, to extend his lead in a match he really needs. And he told me before traveling to the venue that after Kelvin, his next target is a certain Mr. Abdallah Hussein. And for Ibra, even Jerry is not an exception, as he plays the last red on the table, puts it with cue ball straight between itself and the black and the corner pocket bottom right to record what is a 7th out of 11. Some of the clearances he has been having have been well executed, well calculated, and well maneuvered, well won. The lead well extended. Ibrahim Sejemba 7 and Kelvin Fikoti 4. Thanks for watching. Meth Oldly supporting Kelvin from the Facebook stream. Brian Rwando, you say Ibra plays more like cooking beans on a blazer. You're very fit. You're very funny. Let me tell you one thing, guys. By the rules of engagement, by the rules of the game, it is the whole of 60 seconds per shot. I like watching fast players like Jerry, like Dog City, like Herbert, like those guys. But for as long as a player plays within the rules, they don't spend more than 60 seconds, they are good to go. It is perfectly okay as long as it is within the rules. Everybody has their own playing style. They lose that way and they win that way. It is Ibra's playing style and the slow speed which you talk of that has won him 2 international tournaments and 1 international competition final in the last 5 years. Albert Mango, you said they should introduce a time clock. Again, people are still on Ibra. And now I'm giving you actual statistics. You will want to say that Hazard and SEIF are fast players while Ibra is slow in the other match. The match between SEIF and Hazard started 4 minutes later than the match between Ibra and Kelvin. But the match between Ibra and Kelvin is in its 12th frame. The match between SEIF and Hazard is in its 10th. And all matches are live at the same time. I think you can now understand this story. The players are not as slow as you may think. They just want to make sure and they play within the rules. Alex Mochache Nyarabi, you are exchanging, you are giving us an exchange rate. Yes, the $4,000 for which Ibra and Kelvin are playing, you say it is 14 million in my currency, in local currency. It's even more than that. That much I can tell you. It's more than 15 million. Rachel Mbewe is supporting Ibra on the Facebook stream. Thank you for watching. Nigel Nyamararo says that Jerry is not anyone. All right. Mobs Mush. Thank you for watching. As Kelvin leaves cue ball pretty much dead for Ibra to try and do something about it. He needs to play safe. some kind of safety. Problem is that 3 of his yellows are clamped up against each other close to the black. He gets to miss, but plays the cue ball into the yellows. Now you get what he was trying to do. He has gotten, however, 2 lucky. Has gotten Kelvin snookered almost entirely. As on table 2, the 10th frame is done. It has been won by Hazard. The Ugandan has set up a 2-frame lead after 10 frames. Against Saif Hamad, it is 6 frames to 4. Now as Zebra tries to go for the clearance, that has now 5 yellows. My eyes are on the 2 that are touching each other near the bottom right end of the table. You may want to play the cue ball into those 2, off the cushion, into one of them, another in space. Shot had perfect skill. It lacked a little bit of power. Yes, the yellows are in space. They should have been played a little more powerfully to play them at the bottom end of the table, because the top end is where two of the balls are, the red of Kelvin and the black. And the hope for Ibra is on the fact that the red of Kelvin is positioned right behind the black, and it is not portable with any kind of ease. The kind of cue ball is Ibra is having is tempting only to play snooker, play safe, hide the cue ball behind the yellow is playing, and which he does. And he will be preempting Kelvin to play off the cushion of find the red. And if Kelvin doesn't, highly likely he will be losing the frame in Ibra's next visit to the table, should Ibra have a free shot and a visit. On the other stream, Hazard is on 6 and SEIF on 4. Sorry, SEIF on 5. I want to beg your pardon. With SEIF having one frame, number 11. Kelvin fouls. He could put the black. I'm not even certain that he survives, because some of the fouls, standard fouls they can almost be equal to loss of frame fouls. 7 frames to 4. The Ugandan is in the lead. Of course, he has played about maybe 7 money matches, a little bit silently. He's one of those players that are in profit, and net fans like to troll him around. I don't even understand that. He won once against Ishmael and lost twice. $2,000 pots. That put him in a deficit of $1,000. But he won against Kevin Yegon. He won also against Patrick Mwangi. And I think one against one opponent whom I'm forgetting could be. I think it is SEIF. That puts him in profit, also on top of winning a 32-man comp that was organized right here. In this match, he takes an 8 frames to 4 lead in a race to 21 for $4,000. It is 8 for Ibra and 4 for Kelvin. And necessarily so, timeout as requested by Ibra.
Just switch. Please do me the honor. Swivel. Just return the timeouts. Wait. Bravo. Una namba ya Safaricom.
And we are back, dear viewers. I hope that sorts you in terms of at least getting to have some kind of 360-degree coverage of the action of the two matches happening at the same time, most especially when there was timeout between Ibra and Kelvin. And for those 10 minutes, you are watching the match between Hazard and SEIF. For you that are watching from Key Pixels Photography, as well as Peter Cherry Live, or as well as Rack and Shoot Blitz. SEIF 5, Hazard 7, Kelvin 4, Ibra 8. In both matches, we are racing to 21 for Ibra versus Kelvin for $4,000 US, for SEIF versus Hazard for $2,000 US. We are live from the JAMLOCK Sports Center, Machakos, Kenya. Tomorrow, 2 matches confirmed. The curtain raising game will be for ladies at 4 p.m. Michelle versus PR. Penina Rose Njoki, Kenya's finest female shooter, taking on the Ugandan player stroke commentator. It will be coming live from Chana Pub and Grill in Nairobi thereafter. Part 5 between Ishmael and Dula, racing to 21 for $3,000 US at 7 p.m. East African time tomorrow. Friday, not confirmed yet, but I do expect Ibra versus Ishmael. Not yet confirmed. Saturday, the big one will be between Jerry and Caesar. Today there have been 2 departures. And that is the Ugandan kid Habat Mukisa, who is now in Uganda, traveling to catch up with his school program tomorrow, and then Eshka Chimbwanda, who is now settled home in Harare after flying out of Zimbabwe with Kenya Airways after his single assignment yesterday was done, having a money match against Jerry. Now Ibra will be putting the last yellow on the table. We'll want a cue ball to bounce off the top cushion and then move all the way bottomwards as close can reach the black. His pattern today is, from a Kelvin perspective, dangerously okay, as the Ugandan aims for black to put it to the corner pocket bottom right. Has to be careful with the cue ball. Play it with some kind of backspin into the red and puts the black and wins the frame, and Ibra extends his lead. Dear viewers, it doesn't get worse than being led by 4 frames, and then you ask for timeout, and right on time in, you lose the frame and lose it. By Apple, Ibra Sejumba 9, Kelvin Fikoti 4. Malaki Wizwane asking me how much 4K USDs in South African rands. By the way, I don't know. I will have to get my new calculator and try out something. But $4,000 in my currency, it is 15 million. Life is not fair. You have to count notes and notes and notes and notes. And yet right now I'm just placing it in one pocket, and you can't even realize unless I tell you that I have that amount in my pocket. It is mine only for the duration of the next 2 hours. That's life, eh? Raise Visuals asking where Malova is, saying he's so quiet on the YouTube stream. Of course, I'm missing Malova on table as well. Last time out he participated was in a money match against Kelvin, which was not played to completion. Sabanisam Dooley, you're pulling Kelvin's leg on the Facebook stream. You're not being fair, sir. King Kamtungwa, thank you for watching on the Facebook stream. That is Kipixel's Photography. Robin Tausha, you say Kelvin and Oscar are the same level than Ibra and Ganda Ganda. All right. Thank you for the opinion, Snikos Silangwe. You say Ibra is not a walkover. No, he's not a walkover for anybody. Just that some of you, most especially those watch these games online, you like players that take a little time between shots. This I can tell you, that does not relate anyway to what the results or the outcome of matches could be. And another frame could be won by the same player in the same match, with Ibra now having 2 reds on the table. And whichever it is, the first shot he will play will be absolutely critical. He has to put one of the reds to the side pocket on the left. The more confident he becomes, the more worrying it is for Kelvin that it could perhaps be a 3rd straight money match he could be losing in the space of 4 days since his advent of Kenya. Ibra versus the Black for yet another apple. The Ugandan extends his lead. It is now 10 frames to 4. Ibra leading, rest to 21. The situation is becoming a little bit tense between the players. There's been an exchange of words. I'm not even certain what Kelvin was discussing with Ibra and the umpire XP. All I had was let's play. It is just a game, nothing more. I'm not even certain what it was all about. And in the meantime, 10 frames to 4. Kelvin trailing against Ibra. Most of the times in money matches, win or lose, Kelvin never does start this poorly. And I'm very sure, should he lose, that like it could be the case, he will want to appeal. And I've also been informed that Ibra will be more than willing, should he win, if Kelvin appeals, for the two to rematch against each other. Tomorrow is an option. Friday is an option as well. Kelvin now putting the last trade on the table, this time getting everything absolutely right. Wanting now to put back to the corner pocket bottom left. If he does, this one will be the first frame he will be winning from the last 5 that he lost all in a row. Oh no. One of those times when you don't even know what is happening to you. He's not himself. He's nowhere close to his best. It is starting to look highly likely that the Zambian will not be winning the match. I'm not even certain where the foul came. I'm trying to replay the video. I actually don't know. It has taken me a whole video review simply to see that Kelvin imported Ibra's ball in the last shot he played. That is the reason Ibra had the free shot. That is the reason why Ibra is making a clearance. That is why the lead of the Ugandan is growing from 6 to 7 in. I have to confess, the poorest show I have seen of Kelvin in the recent past. Everything he's doing is not good enough. And Ibra is every time taking the easy pickings. Now the lead grows. It is Ibra 11 and Kelvin 4. On the second table, Tanzania's SEIF Hamad is down now by 6 frames to 8 against Uganda's Hazard Lokoma. On the first table, the lead is way bigger than that, a difference of 7. Feels like what Kelvin has to do now is to imagine that he has head started Ibra with +7 and then play a race to 21. Of course, Ibra, an overwhelming favorite for the victory. I have never seen him lose a 7-frame lead. I have never. And you're listening to someone that has been watching Ibra ever since he was even not permitted into the bar to play pool because he was good enough to play but not of age to compete.
Got the headphone for a break so that
11 frames to 4, dear viewers. We're having time in between Hazard and SEIF. That one is at 8 frames to 6. Hazard is in the lead. Live streaming from Q-Pixels Photography YouTube, Break and Finish Live YouTube, Peter Show Live YouTube, as well as Rack and Shoot Blitz YouTube platforms, all presenting to you live action as it comes to you from JAMLOCK Sports Center in Machakos, near Nairobi in Kenya. The communication between the player and the umpire is, if the table is open, umpire. It will be a relative easy clearance, and yet Ibra miss and miss big. A little bit fortunate again that one of Kelvin's yellows has been played by Ibra's red, just behind 2 other reds of Ibra, rendering the frame tricky, even though Ibra did miss when he visited the table last. He will be out of sorts, Kelvin. One of those times when you don't know what is happening, when you don't know what hit you, when you wonder what kind of misfortune is upon you, and most especially if you could be losing a 3rd money match in a row. Of course, he's one of the most trusted shooters, not just in his country, but also on the African continent. But results that have been happening in Kenya so far have been saying pretty much none of that. Losing against Dog City 21 frames to 19, losing against Jerry 21 frames to 15, and this is likely to be a 3rd loss as he misses a ball that could give Ibra another critical chance for yet another critical victory of another critical frame, with the Ugandan Ibra needing to win 10 and Kelvin needing to win 17 out of the next 26 frames. He wants to put red. Ibra play the cue ball into the black or the 2 reds close to the black. He chooses instead to play it backwards, have a cut between the red frozen against the cushion and the white, to the effect that if he plays the red that is frozen with the right spin on the cue ball, it could be played into the 2 reds that are close to the yellow. He will perhaps want to play that shot last, not just now. As he aims, as he puts, as the cue ball moves clear to the red close to the cushion. That is so good. By the way, the 2 reds close to each other. Maybe one of them can pass to the corner pocket bottom left, only if Ibra plays the cue ball well enough to do so. and they are almost intentionally pushing on each other. The two Ugandans, they are very close friends, by the way. In pool and in real life, they are so comfortable around each other, Ibra and Hazard, although they are very distinct in terms of their character. Ibra is very reserved as a person. He also prefers solitude all the time. Hazard is very social. He talks a lot, likes making comedy, very funny, and such a rude character. They are in different sides of the divide, but closest friends in life. And as each one plays, they tell the other, "Come on, men." Now, how can Ibra come on in this frame? Ray Rive is not on target. 11 frames to 4 with 14 frames played. Can't believe my eyes that Kelvin has just won only 4. A reminder of the thumping that Kelvin received at the hands of Ibra. The one and only time they have ever met in a tournament final. A race to 11 it was, in a 16-man invitational comp of absolutely the best 16 players that were in Uganda at the time. The 16 that included Kelvin and Mafia. It is Kelvin that reached the final against Ibra, losing out by 11 frames to 1. That one opened up a war of words, with Kelvin inviting Ibra for a money match to try and mount revenge, with Ibra asking for more time to play. He told Kelvin, "If you want me to play, don't tell me to play today to expect me to play the same day or the following day. I need time to organize myself." And Kelvin once famously said, and I quote, "Pool table is not like boxing or football, where a player needs months to train and prepare. For me, I can just wake up from my bed and then go to play." End of quote. Then he was traumatizing Ibra, but Ibra is traumatizing him now, live in play. 11 frames to 4. Kelvin needs to get this one right. Play yellow into yellow. The bottom one's yellow to be potted by Ray Drive to the corner pocket. Bottom left, it's off. Fortunately, Kelvin snookers. I'm not so certain Ibra has sight of any of the yellows. Maybe the cue ball can pass in between black and yellow, but to play red and pot, something different altogether. He just plays with power and gets support a little. So fortunate. Maybe that is a sign of destiny, in my opinion, that it is Ibra's day. Even when he's playing, hoping for hope, he gets luck, finds himself lucky. He's just spotted without intent, and it has the cue ball for the will-be bad of 2 reds left on the table, portable to the corner pocket bottom left, where he potted the previous red. The other red packed at the corner pocket bottom right. The black is in space just around the black spot. The Ugandan is in business here, starting to have the smile of money, the smell of victory, the smell of revenge against the guy that eliminated him twice in 2 lives in the Queen's Sports Club double elimination competition in Bulawayo. Draws the cue ball backwards and beautifully as he puts the penultimate red on the table. Now needing to roll the cue ball right against the remaining red on the table. For the white to remain just around the same area where there is red, he has to play with the precision. Little power off the cushion, just a little. That's too much power, and will go down as a mistake by the Ugandan, most especially the time when the frame is supposed to be won. And while Kelvin is down, he's not yet out. It's not that he cannot come back. Of course he can. Who knows? Maybe starting with this ongoing frame. As for Ibra, he wants to cut the black sharp into the center pocket. Sorry, corner pocket, bottom left. He also has to cheat the pocket a little. He may as well have to avoid any contact between black and yellow. Maybe better still play it by bank off the cushion. He wants a sharp cut. It is very unlikely, I have to say. It will be almost missing the black, but playing it with too much power. There he goes. into the yellow and misses. Could get lucky, not this time. Advantage, Kelvin. Even when Kelvin played to play the cue ball into the yellow, play the yellow into space. The yellow is a little too close to the black. It cannot pass into the corner pocket. He will have to play yet another safety. There's also a tempting opening shot, put the yellow, which is rightwards of the two, draw the cue ball backwards of the bottom cushion into the black or the yellow close to the black. It is possible. Here he comes. Maybe he'll want to play not to pot. He goes safe. At the end of the day, patience pains, but most of the time it pays. And in the other match, it is 8 frames to 7. Hazard is in the lead after 15 frames of play. In the 16th frame, Ibra has an 11 frames to fall lead. He may want to play not to pot as well. He goes for power, goes for luck. What's the cue ball? Fouls. Black into yellow. The yellow is set. The frame almost certainly now to be won by Kelvin, hopefully for the Zambian to start a comeback, because if it is his to win the match, he must start the comeback and must start it now. In a frame that has happened, taking a way longer time than most of the frames that have been happening in the match, the win of frame number 16 is going the way of Fikoti. He's been shooting so bad that even a frame like this, I have a feeling something could happen, because when it's not your day, it's just not your day. However, perhaps not this time. He'll be choking the tip of his stick, Kelvin, for the very last time as he waits for space from the player on the next table. Who is safe? He equalizes in the match against Hazard. That one is at 8 frames to 8 after 16 frames played. This one, after 16 frames, it is now Ibrahim Sejema 11 and Kelvin Fikoti 4. Sorry, 5.
Go. No more mistakes. No more mistakes. Morning, country. One by one. This match is faster. One by one. Make some announcement. What? Saying that's the problem. I don't think it was. Go.
For the match between Saif Hamad and Hazard Lokoma, it is 18 frames that are being played to completion, and I can call now the scores. The Tanzanian is leading, not only leading in a match that he at one time went by 2 frames down. He is now the guy that is enjoying a 2-frame lead. It is SEIF hammered 10 and Komar hazard 8. Well, the match between Ibra and Sejemba has Ibra, the Ugandan, having double the scores that Kelvin has. Why did I say Ibra versus Sejemba? It is Ibra versus Kelvin, I'm sorry, to the Zambian pool fraternity. The score is 12 frames to 6. Ibra leading race to 21. 4,000 US dollars consequence. Second time in the match that the players are having timeout. Maybe a sign of how serious they are taking the match. For many of these matches, these guys most of the time have been having timeout after 20 frames played, and less than 20 they've already had timeout twice. It could be Ibrahim winning another frame and winning it by break and finish. By reverse dish. He misses in attempt to put red off another red. I don't think that was good pattern. Should have played the red direct, because the one of which he was playing it was a little too distant to warrant a as his name Fikoti means a hard shot, with just 2 little warring yellows of the 5 that are on table, the 2 that are close to each other near the center pocket on the right, sorry, it's the left, because there is a red right in front of that pocket. But one of those yellows can perhaps pass. Maybe he's winning the frame, perhaps punishing Ibra for a miss. That came a little too unexpected. A miss that could get punished and could get punished now. And his fans are chanting him on, Kelvin, that he can make it simply by winning 1 frame at a time. They are shouting 1 by 1. The Tanzanian pool fraternity are entirely supporting Kelvin here, and of course it's understandable. While he's born in Zambia, Kelvin is Tanzanian managed. His team are Q Masters. Despite the rivalry between the Q Masters and the Snipers team are supporting Fikoti, who will now be putting the last yellow on the table to the corner pocket bottom right by a simple roll. Q ball is natural for the black to the center pocket on the left. He could as well play backspin. He misses. A sign of what the match has been so far for Kelvin. How can a performance be that poor? I even want to think it was a little bit of arrogance. He should simply have rolled it. After all, as long as the white remained exactly where the yellow was, black was portable easily to the center pocket on the left, with the easiest pattern being the most effective. Kelvin is learning the hard way. I will not be surprised if I throw out to you another poster of a match between the 2 players tomorrow. The way Kelvin is playing, and I'm assuming that he may lose the match, wouldn't be satisfactory. When you lose that way, playing that bad, you want another chance to fight against the same player. Ibra now has to put the last red on the table to the corner pocket top left, bounce the cable off the left cushion to move it rightwards, support black to the corner pocket at the bottom left, and the rest is a formality. He also has the benefit of playing the cue ball into the yellow. As long as he puts black, he will be safe even when yellow is spotted, but throws it backwards into safety and puts the black and wins the frame and extends his lead. It is Ibrahim Sejemba 13 and Kelvin Fikoti 6. I do thank you, dear viewers. And you are so many hundreds, in fact, a few thousands, two of them watching the action combined from all our streaming platforms. Thank you very much. Appreciating your time spent watching, of course, your data bundles, the passion, the little bit of dedication, and for some of you, the addiction to this sport. Thank you, Africa. Streaming 2 matches at the same time. 8 frames to 11 now. Tanzania's SEIF Hamad leads against Uganda's Hazard Dokoma, whilst 13 frames to 6, the lead of the Ugandan Ibrahim Sejimba against Zambia's Kelvin Fikoti. Another miss in an already poor show by Kelvin. Thank you for watching, Eric from Kigali in Rwanda. Eric Minega. Anderson, you say sometimes in pool you just have to keep it nice and simple, no need for exhibition shots. Yes, especially what Kelvin is going through in terms of his poor patterns. He just needs to do the simplest things just to win frames, just to bring the score more respectable, just to see if he can try and mount a comeback, not let Ibra's lead grow by playing unforced errors. While Trending is asking if this is JAMLOCK by MACHAKOS, the answer is yes, it is. Robert, you want the close to be shut until Hazard finishes the game? He will finish, don't worry. As Ibra plays red off cushion and off yellow, post will be bad. Red of them all has one other tricky red, the corner pocket top, but it is portable to the top left corner where Kelvin has 2 of his yellows. There is space enough to do that. Maybe another frame is going the way of the Ugandan little magician. Ibra having to put red. Cable to be bounced off the cushion as he plays red by rail drive. The cable to move rightwards, so the spin on the cable has to be on the right of the cushion. Right spin, perfect. just so that maybe the cue ball moved a little too much. The important thing was to pot. Now he has to play and pot with backspin, the cue ball to be played against the left cushion to move rightwards. This is nice queuing, nice partnering from the Ugandan. As he puts the last red on the table, there is choice either to try and put it into the center pocket left or corner pocket top left, where Kelvin has his yellows. A shot to the corner pocket may naturally get the cue ball played into the black, maybe even put the black. That means the red has to be on target, because if the black is and the red isn't, the frame is lost. If both are, the frame is won. He goes for the side pocket and Potts plays the cue ball into Kelvin's yellows. The cue ball remains so distant from the black. It is the reason why I thought the corner pocket was a little safer. He has to be on target now to win the frame now, or not to be on target and most likely lose the frame and lose it now. Seems to be off target. Chance for Kelvin to take the frame away. They can be very thin margins that separate victory from defeat when it's top players against each other. Frame number 20 seems to be going the way of Kelvin. You're happy to see Hazard back. Thank you for watching LJDA. Watching the match between Hazard and SEIF on YouTube. Hakalan, stop disturbing us. You are inviting trouble. Manels 1994. You're asking what Hazard is playing. Of course, Hazard has not been playing ever since he took a 2-frame lead. It is now him down by 3 frames, meaning he has lost 5 frames in a row. Perhaps 4. As Kelvin puts the last 2 balls on the table to corresponding corner pockets, top left and top right, the Zambian is getting within another of the Ugandan. No prize for guessing what is next. Of course, he'll be putting in the black. It is Ibra 13 and Kelvin 7 after 20 frames of play. In the frame between SEIF and Hazard, with SEIF leading by 11 frames to 8, he potted black prematurely. Actually, everybody laughed at him, including his bosses, the Tanzanian Q Masters team. Sorry, the Snipers team. He was playing free shot before, and for a free shot, he wanted to play the black closer to the center pocket and then pot red, which was packed at the corner pocket when he had a free shot. He ended up potting black in the free shot when it was not done to pot black, and he lost the frame just like that. It is 2 matches flowing at the same exact speed, with both matches at least having gotten 1 timeout, with both matches in their 21st frame. 13 frames to 7, Ibra leading, 11 frames to 9, SEIF leading either way. A race to 21 for Ibra versus Kelvin for $4,000, for SEIF versus Hazard for $2,000 total pot. He has to regain the winning rhythm, Ibra. Of course, you don't want your opponent to start mounting a comeback when you still need the whole of 8 frames to get the victory. 8 is too many to think it is done and dusted. He will be having the problem of the red that is close to yellow. Moves the cue ball just into the black. Maybe exactly where he needed the cue ball. Now has to roll the red close to the black into the corner pocket, bottom left. In the same shot, manipulate the cue ball for the last red on the table, which is portable to the corner pocket, top left where there is Kelvin's yellow. For the red he's playing, he has to play it with top spin. Maybe the cue ball to follow the red all the way. He could as well play backspin, but top spin, in my opinion, is safer. He played it even better, playing the cue ball just almost around the yellow. It looked so good on the eye. He may have to play backspin, drawing the cue ball bigly backwards so that he puts black to the corner pocket. That is center on the right. No, you don't lose your pattern when you're on the verge of winning. Potting was easier than missing, most especially given the position of Kelvin's yellow at the corner pocket, which made the pocket look even bigger. Not even looking bigger, it becomes bigger because you have a ball to support your own as you try and pot. Advantage Kelvin. Of course, this time round he's not going to let Ibra back onto the table. He will not. For the consequence of $4,000, for which the two are racing to 21, with Kelvin way back in terms of scores, 6 frames down. After the ongoing frame, highly likely it will be 5, as the frame should be on the verge of being won by Kelvin. If he doesn't win a frame like this, you get a feeling he has no business even trying to win the match. Cue ball off to cushions with the top spin as he pots, not just potting this time, finishing the frame, having to put the last yellow on the table to the corner pocket, bottom left, then drawing the cue ball backwards. It naturally moves a little towards the right, just like that. The rest is a formality. Black to the center pocket on the left. Kelvin 8, Ibra 13. Now I think this is more of mind games than anything less, than anything else, just for Ibra to drain Kelvin out of confidence, to reduce his pattern, to lower his energy. Ibra gets timeout only after, I think, 2 or 3 frames of timing. Once again, Kelvin Fikoti 8 and Ibrahim Sejemba 13. For the viewers watching Ibra versus Kelvin, we can take the remaining 3 minutes watching SEIF versus Hazard.
Just like that. No time for errors. No more errors. No more errors. Check for them. Check for them. I don't think Capello. It's a foul. Yeah. Can say when he was playing FIFA, he went to the toilet that way.
They're trolling him seriously. And when he's down, make sure he doesn't run. Make sure. No more mistakes.
It is now 14 frames to 10, dear viewers. And for those that are watching the match between Hazard and SEIF, it is 12 frames to 9. Hazard still in the lead. And in that match, the reason for the pause of the game is because the video that you're watching has been used by the official, that is Innocent XP, to make a decision after video review that has been ruled as a foul by Hazard. 14-10 up for Ibra versus Kelvin. He needs to win 7, Kelvin needs to win 11 out of the remaining 19. It's perhaps 18 frames to go in the match on the blue table. Here's the role of playing 5 reds with the little worry of the 2 reds near the center pocket on the left, as he has them in mind. How good will the cue ball be? Maybe one of them is portable into the corner pocket bottom left. If he does, with how good he's played the cue ball in this current phase of the table, the frame should be as good as gone. He has to start with the red that is leftwards of the two that are close to each other near the side pocket on the left. He could start with yet another ball, but it's a little too risky. Maybe he makes his mind up that the right ball to start with is the one that provides the least amount of risk. And yes, he puts it, playing the cue ball into yet another red. Maybe he would have loved this better if it was potted as well, but even that can do. Just that there are so many of Kelvin's yellows, 3 of them. With assumption he's going to be potting the red to the corner pocket bottom right first. The yellows that could hamper the movement of the cue ball. He simply wants to have the sight of the red near the side center pocket left, after potting red to the corner pocket bottom right, for him to almost certainly guarantee him victory of frame number 25. The idea is, of course, to pot, then play the cue ball not to get snookered off yellow and foul. Kelvin survives. I'm now starting to think that this Zambian, who is showing like he has nerves of steel in the match, even after playing so poor for the first 1.5 hours of the match, has got it within himself to try and steal the victory away from Ibra. If he wins this frame, like I think he will, the scoreline will be lessened to 3. And yet at one time, Ibra had a 7-frame lead. I think when he led by 13 frames to 6. Since then, Ibra has just won 1, while Kelvin has won 4. And this could become a 5th. Rightly so for Kelvin, for efficient choosing to play Ibra's red close to the cushion, simply to give him latitude to play and pot with comfort, knowing that his opponent's ball is not potable with ease. There is the choice of the yellow closest to the corner pocket bottom left. He could pot it. The one next to it could as well be potted off the one which is near the center pocket. He's perhaps deciding that that is not to be done now. At one time during this clearance, I want to believe he will have to play that same exact shot. The one he's playing, he could as well decide not to pot. If he wanted, after all, he would leave Ibra snookered. He plays and doesn't pot with the intention to pot and doesn't snooker. Sometimes the safest shot is the most effective. Potting by rail drive with all that power and drawing the cue ball off the cushion with too much spin. Of course, it will move the cue ball to the place where you want it, but it risks your chance of potting. Now, everybody want to recover with sight of the red. In fact, full sight. Pot it by rail drive to the corner pocket bottom right. It's in. It's not in. He played it as though it was always going in, and plays the cue ball to a spot where Kelvin will perhaps be okay with it. At one point now in this frame, I want to think that Kelvin will want to play and put both red and yellow to the same corner pocket bottom right by combination. That is what will open up the frame for him if he's to try to go for the clearance. Now he got the chance to go for it. The chance was misused. Now he's finding it a little too difficult, nonetheless possible. He's already very well experienced, has been in so many situations like this. He's twice made a tour into Zimbabwe, winning majority of the matches against the best of Zimbabwean players. He's also made a tour of Uganda. He's made a tour of Tanzania, where he was so much appreciated. The Q Masters team ended up signing him, and is now one of them. He's played international pool in other countries like South Africa. Of course, here in Kenya, not the first or second time. He's played across the borders. He's traveled all the way up to China and Australia in other disciplines like Heibo. He has this black ball match to try and contend with, where a rival of his, who could by the way be his biggest rival on the African continent, is leading with a gap of 4. Here he comes. That is very good. from the Zambian, drawing the cue ball backwards off the cushion in a position now we can put with ease the two yellows, at least one of them, to the side pocket on the right. This one will be a little difficult. He goes for the corner pocket off cushion, off another yellow, and puts and recovers. While the yellow off which he has played has been played a little too far away from the pocket, I think Kelvin will still be content. It's the ball he has to play to the corner pocket. Top right. Maybe he's deciding that that ball is not to be played now. He could as well play the cue ball into Ibra's red now. He could as well play simply to have a chance to put the remaining yellow near the center pocket by bank. Maybe it is what he's trying to do, because yes, it has an angle between it and white of the cushion by which that yellow can go into the center pocket on the right, where the cue ball now is by bank, by double. He's deciding perhaps it is not the shot he will want to play. He wants to put yellow to the corner pocket to press, then draw the cue ball leftwards, the whole distance of the table leftwards, close to the would-be remaining yellow. Pinpoint accuracy from Zambia number 1, who now has to put the remaining yellow on the table to the corner pocket, bottom left. That is all he has to do. It's one of the times when all you need is to make a ball, to put your ball. Hope that black will take care of itself. After all, it is in pretty good space. He misses. That was in effort to try and play the cue ball so close to the black. It is why, in my opinion, in some cases, a player simply just has to pot. You don't always have to be elaborative, most especially if it risks your chance of potting. In this case, Kelvin will be guilty. He simply had to pot. He has all the ability to pot the black anywhere on the table with the cue ball in space. This one is now likely to be taken down by Ibra, punishing a mistake after Kelvin fighting so hard and yet coming now close to losing the frame. Even after that hard fight, the rest is a formality. The Ugandan versus the black to the side pocket on the right to establish a 5-frame lead. It is on Ibrahim Sojemba 15 and Kelvin Kandu 10. Between Hazard and SEIF, dear viewers, it is a gap of 5 frames, 14 frames to 9. Between Ibra and Kelvin, it is a gap of 5 frames, 15 frames to 10, with Kelvin going for a 16th, sorry, an 11th for himself and going by apple. As it will be Hazard and SEIF completing their timeout. Even the viewers of that match will be enjoying what look like the final moments of frame number 26 between Kelvin and Ibra. As Kelvin, left with one red on the table, will be putting it to the corner pocket top left, with the cue ball being drawn slightly backwards and only slightly. He may have not allowed the cue ball even to reach the, and yes, he does. Kelvin Fikoti 11 and Ibrahim Sajemba 15, race to 21 for 4,000 US dollars. And would you even believe it that the match between Hazard and SEIF is flowing slower than the match between Ibra and Kelvin, with Hazard and SEIF having played 23 frames now, Ibra and Kelvin having played 26, having started only 4 minutes earlier. And how good will this one be for a clearance by Kelvin? As for Ibra, as he sits down waiting for a chance, he will be knowing it that he will get those 6 chances to win 6 frames, take the match away, and make himself a winner of a pot of 4,000 US dollars after work done in what will be just about 4 hours. With Kelvin playing the top spin, the cue ball into a yellow. This one will be a little too tricky. If he plays the yellow close to white, if he puts it to the corner pocket bottom right, which would be his intention, the cue ball could be played leftwards into the reds or into the black. If that happens, he has no control of the white. After contacting the black, he will have to avoid the black. He plays it into the black. He gets partially snookered, but still can pot. A little bit lucky he will be in this case, but still can win the frame. Now, if he can put red, sorry, it is yellow to the corner pocket top left, and he may have the cue ball to bounce off at least 2 cushions. That is the top cushion, then the right cushion to move all the way bottomwards. Top cushion, miss. Advantage, Ibra. And from the other stream, Hazard could win another frame simply by banking one yellow into the side pocket on the left. He doesn't have it within himself. His opponent has cruise control of the match. SEIF leads by 14 frames to 9. Hazard going for the mark, and misses the bank and knows that he more than likely will be losing another frame. Kagiso Komana, thank you for watching. Watching the match between SEIF and Hazard. Whichever match you are watching, you can enjoy the audio of another. It feels like watching both of them. The other option is to split your screen and watch both matches from the same phone, most especially if you're watching from a phone. Some phones split their screen naturally. In other phones, you first have to download the split screen app. Then you select one app at the top, one app at the bottom. The match between Ibra and Hazard has streamed. Sorry, Ibra and Kelvin has streaming from YouTube and Facebook as well. The Facebook stream is on Key Pixels Photography. The channel by the other guy who might beat in 3 many matches, as Ibra looks to be set for the win that will put him within 5 frames of a very important victory. Of course, for him it's largely the money, but there's a little bit of beef to settle between the players. And sometimes in the match it has been all visible, a little audible. There's one moment where there was exchange between the two. There's also a verbal exchange between Kelvin and the guy that is manning Ibra during this tour, that is Bob. And Ibra now does have 3 reds to take care of, and then the black. I just want to think having the red parked at the corner pocket top right to be played last is a little risky, because the presence of the yellow right in front of it could hamper the movement of the cue ball, as he will be getting the cue ball as close can to the black. That's why I would think patience could be needed a little bit here. He's playing to move the cue ball bottomwards. I'm not certain he has full sight of the red, but still can put it even off the jaw. Cue ball is played fast into red, and he will be definitely putting it with any contact between white and red. I just think putting it last creates some bit of room for Kelvin to have hope. If he plays poorly, the cue ball could be played into the yellow. Could even get himself snookered. Goes for the backspin off the cushion, and another. No better way to win the frame and increase the lead to come within 5 more frames of victory, which victory would come with $4,000. Ibrahim Sejemba 16 and Kelvin Fikoti 11. It is 15 frames to 9. SEIF hammered leading by 6 frames against Hazard Lokoma. It is 16 frames to 11. Ibrahim Sejemba leading by 5 frames against Kelvin Fikoti. Both matches are races to 21 for SEIF versus Hazard for $2,000 pot, for Ibra versus Kelvin for twice that amount. So, my being a very rich guy here will stop in the next 1 hour at least, when the $6,000 I have will be surrendered to its rightful owners, starting likely to be that maybe it could be SEIF and Ibra. I'm already now made to learn that should Kelvin lose, he will want a rematch soon. Of course, Ibra will not be accepting rematch tonight, but soon could be tomorrow. Kelvin with the chance to cut red sharp, play the cue ball into black, play the black and another red open, but first he has to pot. He pots, gets knocked in a moment of misfortune. That is a little summary of what his match has been almost entirely. Sometimes just not playing well enough, sometimes the pattern's not coming through, sometimes he's not being lucky. Even to have won 11 frames now, it has been a very big fight, because at one time he was trailing by 7. Now off the cushion comes Kelvin. Off another cushion, it is a foul. It is a chance for Ibra to win yet another. Come within one more frame of the $4,000. For a free shot, he's likely to choose to put one of Kelvin's red, which he does, and creates a very good opening to win the frame and win it now. The yellow close to Kelvin's red could be played first. Ibra is choosing, otherwise going for the top right corner pocket with the pinpoint target. He's also having one of his eyes on the match between Hazard and SEIF. Of course, Ibra will be supporting Hazard here, but it is Hazard training with a gap of 6. In that one, SEIF needs to win 6 in the one between Ibra and Hazard. Ibra and Kelvin, it's Ibra needing to win 5 for victory. Off the cushion comes snookered Hazard. He at least avoids fouling. And in the direct shot, plays Ibra. Yellow potted cue ball to the bottom end of the table where the 2 other yellows are. I just don't think it will be easy for him to pot. I don't even think he'll be trying to play to pot, because there is another option anyway. Hide the cue ball behind the black and play snooker, or he pots. He was potting, the yellow was passing. Kelvin is losing. Ibra versus the yellow, which will be the last on the table to put it diagonally to the corner pocket bottom left, with keyboard being drawn rightwards and backwards, and the rest is a formality. Every mistake that Kelvin has been doing for most of the match has been punished by Ibra. This time round, he wins the frame, which is a 17th for himself, needing to win 4. Kelvin needing to win 10 out of the remaining 13. Ibrahim Sejamba 17 and Kelvin Nkando 11.
I was somewhere. He called me. I was not even you said you don't remember how much. I will ask you what the last. But it's you buy this one is bought separate, then someone puts the stick. No, I don't know this. I just want what they sell is this. And this one is yes, that's what I do. And then this one. Yes, this one is sold a lot. But if you don't have it, just want this kind. Looks better. To hold it properly, I have 3 charging, 2 power banks, 3 phones, the different microphones. Are you allowed to with this in a plane, the power bank? Or you put it in the carry on baggage? Carry on. I know for that one, they might not allow. You traveled with Kenya Airways for quite a while. But it's a bit more expensive. Yeah. Like it's clinical. Yeah. So that the players, even they are losing something. The stream is a lot of times I do put it there also, but it can be used as like yes, playback, because that one is slower, it is behind. Oh, so they now just see. They have to disturb. They just see. Peter, listen to this. That guy, his name was Admin UG. You know him? No.
Take your time and make sure. All right. Sure. Nice shot. Check it.
It is now 18 frames to 11, with the Ugandan Ibra needing to win just 3 out of the remaining perhaps 12 frames, under which Kelvin must win 10 or else succumb to the loss of $4,000 spot. It will become the 3rd straight money match that Kelvin is losing since his advent of Kenya. This time it will be a little bit more painful for the fact that it is even if he's to win another match and another, he will still not have redeemed his money. And these 4,000 pots don't come handy. Most of the pots we have been having have been sometimes 2,000, sometimes 3,000, sometimes 1,000 or so. And there have been pots for ladies which are way less than that. Like the one that is being played tomorrow afternoon between Michelle and the PR. 4 p.m. coming to you live from Mchana Pub and Grill in Nairobi. Ibra breaks dry in frame number 30. Coming live tomorrow after the curtain raising match involving the ladies will be part 5 between Abdallah Hussein and Ishmael Mtetwa. Friday will witness yet another arrival of all the way from Bolton in the United Kingdom, fresh from taking on Tom Cousins' Caesar Chandiga to have business against Kelvin, Dula and Jerry this coming Saturday and Sunday and Monday. Expected as well is rematch of action between Ibra and Kelvin, as well as Zambian seemingly out of sorts, having nowhere to hide in a match which he has a fighting chance, and yet in some kind of way it already looks like a lost cause. It doesn't happen like that for Ibra not to win 3 out of 10. It just doesn't happen like that. A live streaming of the match between Ibrahim Sejemba and Kelvin Fikoti is on QPixels Photography Facebook, as well as Peter Chove Live YouTube, and another stream on Rack and Shoot Blitz YouTube. With Kelvin now having the red to put at the corner pocket top left and another to the top right. Black is there for the taking. It's just in a multitude of space just around the middle of the table. Kelvin will want to put the last red on the table to the corner pocket top right to draw the cue ball slightly backwards such that he can put black to the corner pocket bottom right. It has to be the slightest backspin for the cue ball to move just a little leftwards, just like that. The rest is a formality. Though the Zambian is down, Kelvin is not out. He needs to win 10. This one, if he's to win the match, is the first of 10. And by break and finish, Kelvin wins. Ibrahim Sejemba 18 and Kelvin Fikoti 11. Hazard Lukoma 9. Saif Hamad 17. Race to 21 for $2,000. $17 frames to 9. Saif leads. Not only leads, he puts black for the 18th time in the match. The lead for the Tanzanian is ×2 in terms of scores for the Ugandan Hazard. It is Saif 18, Hazard 9, Ibra 18, Kelvin 12, race to 21. As Ibra gets closer, putting yellow cue ball backwards into the red and playing the red dead with 4 yellows on the table, all of them in pretty good space in a frame that is finishable. And given the finisher is Ibra, it is easily finishable. Once again, special dedication of this match to some very special persons. Mr. Zach Idiro, manager of the Bank of Africa in Uganda, manager of Roxbury, Ibra's boss. I know that this one will be keeping him awake, feeling the pressure, but it will be all worth it, especially given the outcome that is pending to be from this match.
Yes.
With now 3 yellows, 2 of them portable to the side pockets left and right. Of course, a little bit tricky. I want to think that the yellow, which is leftwards, should be played first. If he doesn't, it becomes a risky shot. The position of the cue ball is not favorable because whichever of the balls he decides to put, white is not natural for either of the next yellows. So the safest shot of them all, in my opinion, is the one to the left, which is what he's doing, as though he's listening to the commentator, putting precisely and very precisely and on the verge of recording a frame that could put him within 2 of victory. He will start with the yellow close to the cue ball. A little backspin does. He may now have to play the remaining yellow on the table to the center pocket on the right with a little bit of power for the whites to be played into the cushion at the top to bounce off the cushion, then return all the way bottomwards just around the same area where the yellow is as I speak. This has to avoid. That is one of the times when the player plays as though they are listening to the commentator. The little magician potting black for the 19th time. Ibrahim Sejemba 19, Kelvin Fikoti 12, needing to win 2 to become $4,000 richer. Kelvin must win 9 frames out of 10 or succumb to defeat. Once again, Ibra 19 and Kelvin 12, Hazard now 10 and SEIF Hamad 18.
Bobo ngira mbajjam.
Make sure, take your time and make sure.
And from the commentator who is having sight of Kelvin in his sitting position and the body language of one who is starting to give up the fight. On an open table, Ibra decided to play yellow into red, getting to pot the red. He does close the table, playing reds. He was so fortunate not to foul.
Take your time and make sure.
You are watching 2 professional bouts money matches between 2 Ugandans, 1 Zambian, 1 Tanzania. Hazard Locom of Uganda taking on SEIF Hamad of Tanzania. Stream that is live on Break and Fish Live. YouTube has SEIF, the Tanzanian, leading by 18 frames to 10, racing to 21 for $2,000. The match between Ibrahim Sejemba and Kelvin Fikoti of Uganda and Zambia respectively has the Ugandan lead by 19 frames to 12, live on Kipixel's photography, Facebook, Rack and Shoot Blitz, YouTube, as well as my own socials. That is Peter Chove Live YouTube, with Ibra enjoying and cruising 19 frames to 12. If he wins 2 frames, he will have won the $4,000. That is pot available for victory of the match. He's on the yellows. Sorry, he's on the reds. 2 of them tricky. The 2 that are close to the yellow, that is near the side pocket on the right. Of course, he will be playing the one that is distant from them. Portable diagonal into the corner pocket, top right. What he will do about another of the reds, your guess is as good as mine. But if you look at those reds, they're too close to each other. Maybe one of them portable to the center pocket where there is the yellow. If the cue ball is played well enough and it won't be too much difficulty, it will simply take a little top spin for the white to follow the red half the way to the corner pocket bottom right. He goes for backspin, plays the cue ball into the red. I didn't see that coming. He can sometimes mean to be very tricky. When you don't expect a big shot, he shows you that he can give it to you. It was a little unfortunate that after playing cue ball into red, it was bounced off the cushion to be played into yellow, leaving it frozen, pretty much a dead ball. We'll now have to pot red to the corner pocket top right, play the cue ball off the red cushion into the red, which is close to the yellow. This time he creates space between white and yellow and red, but unfortunately does not pot. The chance goes to Kelvin to win the frame. He just has to take it one frame at a time. Doesn't have to think about his opponent or his lead or anything of the sort. He just has to play his own game. Because it's now a match that has long gone out of his control, and to demonstrate that he is out of sorts, he misses when least expected. The kind of performance Kelvin has put up today is one that will, in his mind, be thinking of probably requesting for a rematch than thinking of winning the match today. (18 frames to 11), SEIF leads against Hazard. 19 frames to 12, Ibra leads against Kelvin. And I know that this one will spark off some war of words on social media between the Zambians and the Ugandans, between the fans of Kelvin, and now positioned in space to be ported with any chance given to play. How good will the shot be? Kelvin must pot, and pot he does. Every reason to believe he's winning the frame now, save for the yellow closest to the cue ball. It wouldn't be potted in a straight shot. Maybe if he played it off the left cushion and off the red close to black, it could go into the corner pocket. But it's not the shot he'll be playing now. What he needs is to keep potting. He now has to play the cue ball to pot yellow to the center pocket, right? Play the cue ball into the yellow, close to the cushion, off the cushion, misses the yellow. Sorry, he actually played it into the yellow, but not favorable enough. Almost returning to the same exact position it was before the shot was taken. The temptation to play and put it by bank is there to the corner pocket top right. Maybe another shot to play it into yet more space. He probably wants to have the cue ball played close enough to the last yellow. In my opinion, he doesn't play the bad ball last. I don't think his pattern was perfect. I'm starting to doubt he's even going to win this frame. Now what he'll be having in his mind is to put yellow with the red drive, then play the cue ball into that bad yellow. Maybe the red close to the yellow. Has played with relatively much power. He goes inside for a simple roll and is counting on the chance of the bank by double. Pot yellow off the cushion to the center pocket on the right, at the right, sorry. Maybe to play top spin in order to manage it. He's spinning the cue ball backwards. He must pot. He's limiting his chances. He's deciding to play the bad ball last. That is always risky, but can be vindicated if he banks yellow off the cushion on the left to the center pocket on the right. As not forget, can't get himself snookered, can't afford that, misses and misses big, and maybe now he knows he's losing the frame. Yet another, which will be a 20th for the Ugandan, who I think may opt to play not to pot. Of the two players, he's more calm, he's more composed, and for the course of this match, he has been showing much better game reading. His patterns have also been more perfect. If he wins the match, he will be a deserved winner. If he's to get a 20th frame, maybe not now. but has controlled the cue ball well enough for Kelvin not to put in a direct shot. Maybe another chance to bank the same yellow to the center pocket on the right, where he's having his hands off the cushion on the left. This time round, it is in, and the frame will be won by the Zambian. Ibra has to be reminded that while Kelvin is down, he's not yet out, as he now punishes Ibra for a miss. And Kelvin makes it 13 to Ibra's 19, rest to 21.
Just like that, just like that. Come on, get outside.
And we begin with them.
Yeah, viewers, Kelvin Fikoti of Zambia is being conditioned to trying to win 7 frames in a row against a very formidable opponent in Ibrahim Sejemba. And by the way, the other match that has SEIF Hamad and Hazard Lokoma and the Break and Finish Live YouTube stream is at 20 frames to 11. SEIF is in the lead. If he wins one more frame, he will make himself $2,000 richer. So we are looking at 2 tables where the respective frames happening could be the very last. And SEIF is someone that has been performing not well enough. He only has one money match, 1 out of 3. If he wins this one, it will be him reclaiming money he would have lost and try to play other matches, maybe try to put himself in profit against other players in the near future. As Kelvin gets to put a ball on the blue table, leaving the cue ball at the bottom side of the table, not exactly where he needs it. At the same time, SEIF wanting to put the last yellow on the table to the corner pocket top left, maybe off caution and off red, maybe directly into the corner pocket. It looks a little bit tricky. He's having all the pressure to himself, especially given the consequence of winning the frame, and understandably so. He will try again. I'm speaking about SEIF on the green table. The yellow is portable. As long as the cue ball remains at the bottom end of the table, he will be winning the frame and will be defeating Hazard, and doing so comprehensively. He misses the yellow, the chance for Hazard to start the comeback as Kelvin puts red on the blue table, having one bad red of them, three that are on the table. The one that is close to the yellow near the center pocket at the right. It is Hazard going for a clearance on the green table. It is Kelvin trying to pull one back on the blue table, but cannot afford to miss. He wants to play the cue ball into yellow and red. He misses the pot, leaving pretty much 7 yellows of Ibra portable. What is about to come could be Ibra trying to win a frame that wins him a total pot of $2,000 on the net. If he wins this frame now, it will be the biggest pot he would have won in his career. He has won so many matches, but never a pot of 4K. He has defeated Jerry, I think thrice at least. He has defeated Caesar in a money match once. He has defeated Dog City. He has defeated Kasozi. He already defeated Kelvin once about 4 years ago, but not a pot this big. He remained calm and composed throughout the match. He has been a better thinker. He has also been surprisingly a better potter. He has had fewer unforced errors, and if he makes this clearance, it's my opinion that he will be a match deserved winner. Now having the work of 5 yellows and the black to contemplate the pattern which would bring victory to himself and to his management team, Roxbury in Uganda. Coming closer to the win, coming closer to the money. In a money match, that is the first of about 2 that are expected between himself and Kelvin during this tour, but it will be the 5th money match overall out of 7 in so far a silently successful tour of Kenya. The yellow he's putting to the corner pocket top right would be the more difficult of them all, with now every reason to believe that Ibra is taking victory home. Maybe the yellow close to red near the corner pocket bottom right will be played last. It more than certainly guarantees the movement of the cue ball. The same cue ball that, by the way, in the green table is being played by SEIF. Almost simultaneously, the matches are ending at pretty much the same time. The match between Hazard and SEIF has SEIF playing black and putting it and winning. The match between Ibra and Kelvin has Ibra having the work of 3 yellows and the black to try and mount a victory. Here is the cue ball. Couldn't have been played any better by simply rolling the yellow. The cue ball moves topwards where the black is. The frame will be won by Ibra. The match will be won by Ibra. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ugandan is now $4,000 richer. Kelvin will congratulate him. Ibra is victorious. It is the 5th match he's winning in this tour out of 7 after close to 4 hours. Ibra wins against Kelvin. This is for the 2nd time in the 2nd country, in the 2nd city. Final score, Ibrahim Sejemba 21 and Kelvin Fikot 14.
Help me be moving it around. Ibra, interview.
Where I can take the microphone. I don't want him to go out without an interview. XP. Kongs Ibra, what do you have for your fans? It was a big win.
Thank you, Peter. I have nothing to say, just to congratulate myself and my sponsors, Very Poor Management.
Now, Kelvin's manager was talking to me. Kelvin's manager was talking to me that he may want to rematch tomorrow or Friday. Will you be ready?
Yeah, I can be ready on Friday.
On Friday, if you want rematch for any amount, you are available. So in the meantime, I have your money. Yeah, we are $2,000. Then the other money is in Kenya shillings. Enjoy your win. Thank you for viewing, guys. I wish you a wonderful rest of the evening, and may the Almighty God bless you. Picture. Tutaki picture.